Hello and welcome to This Board Game Life. My name is Mark, and I was going to sit down today and do my September month in review and realized I never did my August month in review. Um, I don't know how I missed it, but I did this last time like I had missed a month, and so now I got to do two of them today. So we're going to start with August, and then when I'm done with this, I'll do another video for the next day and do my September review. So hopefully these are going to just be a kind of I'll go through the games I played in that month and just kind of share very brief thoughts or comments about each one, not going in depth on anything, but just kind of reviewing what I played for the month. And I look forward to hearing any comments from you on maybe some of the games that you played during the month, some things that you might have enjoyed, or maybe recommendations of things that you think I might like. I always look forward to recommendations. But let's, as we get started, I do ask first if you'd hit that like button. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. We really appreciate it. And hit that bell icon so you're not missing any new content. All right. So this month, I did play 28 different games. So the first one on my list this is the one I played the most, or tied with the most. I had 3 plays of Panda Spin. So this is a Carl Chudik game. This is a you're trying to get rid of the cards in your hand, so it's like a card shedding game, but it's kind of neat. There's this ability to if you don't win the trick, then you get your cards back and then you flip them from kind of like the weaker side to the more powerful side, if you will. So there's like 2 sides to the cards, top and bottom. And so it's really interesting. At least there's like a blue side, as it's called, and then the kind of the normal side. But sometimes you'll flip them over and they'll have like a higher number or a special ability or something that will help you in like your next turn to try to win that trick. So, and this one is like you're scoring points. So when you win the trick, you're getting points, and it's like a race to 15 points. But as opposed to things like Scout, this one you have to stick with whatever was led. So if someone played 3 cards, like 3 of a kind, you can't beat it with like a 4 of a kind, which was weird. It's kind of a weird, kind of a different system. I know the very first time Rob and I played it at Gen Con, we played it incorrectly because I was like, no, it's like, I was thinking like Scout rules, you're just, as long as you can beat it. But if you did that in this game, you like at one point I like played almost my whole hand, boom, I think the way that this plays with the special abilities, you playing in the set that was led, you can't change it as you go. But there are abilities like bombs and different, I think they call them formations, that you can play. So very interesting game, and very beautiful art, cards in this. The next thing I also played 3 of is Up or Down. This is from Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer from Capstone Games. I did real quick. So Panda Spin is from Moongate Design. So just wanted to make sure I did mention that. So again, back to Up or Down. This looks like I got it because it was kind of an inexpensive game. It is Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer. So I'm like, that's kind of a, there you go, right? I got to get it. But this is building rows of ascending or descending numbers. And that might not sound like interesting out the gate, but what happens? This is actually a really neat game. I really do enjoy this because you've got like a market, if you will, of like six cards in the center of the table, and then there's 2 draw piles. One is face up, one's face down. So, and everyone has a starting deck of cards, right? Starting hand, and you're going to play a card from your hand to this kind of open market that is like in a circle, right? And you have to place the number on your card in between where it would fall in line. So let's just say I had a 15 in my hand. I would have to play it between a card lower than 15 and a card higher. So and then you would take either the lower or the higher card from the market. So whatever would be adjacent to it, right? Then that's the card you take to play in front of you. So you're never playing the cards from your hand. You're using those cards to get cards to put in front of you. And you can have 3 stacks going up or down. And you can't, once you start like building, you put your second card in your stack. If it's counting up, you can no longer count down. You cannot put lower cards. So you are committing to going up or down. The cards are like an elevator. So you're going one direction. That's kind of how this works. So you're committing to that, and it gets very interesting because you'll have cards that you're trying to get like a bunch of the same colors to get multipliers for end game scoring. There's a lot of different types of things that you're going on, and you can see what others are numbers they're trying to get. So you might see something you want and someone else will take it. Now, you don't have to be consecutive. It doesn't have to be 15, 16, 17, 18. You can go 15, 25, 26, 32, but you always have to be counting up. And based on your player count, there's a limited number of cards, so you'll play a set number for depending on your player count. It's actually really interesting. There's a lot more depth to this game than you might think of from the start, just based on the build rows of ascending or descending numbers, right? That's what you're doing, but there's a lot more to it. So plays 2 to 6 players in about 30 minutes. It's a really fantastic game, so be sure to check that out. My next game I played this one twice. This is a big one, Ark Nova. This is from Matthias Wig and published by who is that? Let me double check if I got another Capstone Games. Yep. Okay. There's a lot of publishers here, but for here in the U.S., it is Capstone Games. But this is you're planning to build a modern, scientifically managed zoo to support conservation projects. This is a big game. This is a long game. But it's one of those that, like, when it actually ends, you're just like, oh, I needed one more turn, or if I could have just had just another turn or two. It's like it always seems to, like, when it first starts out, it feels like it goes really slow, and then by the time it's getting close to ending, you're just like, oh no, you feel like there's a race, like you got to get things going. But it does build up as you go. You get kind of your engine going, and it's just a fantastic game. There's so many things that you can do. It's one of those that, there's not a set way to win. Like, you can have different strategies of building up certain, getting certain types of animals or certain types of continents or doing certain types of research, or, just there's all these different ways to play. Some people may not even do much on the conservation track, when others might progress on that faster than the points. But the game will end once the points and the conservation track meet or pass each other of one player. So you always have a good idea when the game's going to end, because it's right out in front of you. You can see how close 2 people's markers are coming. But it's a absolute fantastic game. I really do enjoy Ark Nova, and I did back the acrylic version. So I'm waiting. I'm basically upgrading my copy to get all the acrylic tiles and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. And Ark Nova is fantastic. Next in, I did play a couple games of Ticket to Ride. I don't need to tell you what this is. Everybody knows what this is. Building routes across America. This is, a fantastic game from Alan R. Moon and Days of Wonder. It's a classic, and it's one of my family's favorites, especially my daughter. And both of these plays were with her, as always. Next, I did get to play Gatsby. I played this twice during the month, and this was something that Rob picked up at Gen Con, and we played it at his house, and then I think we played it on BGA as well. This is a Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Maublanc game. This is published by Catch Up Games, and let's see. Oh, and Pandasaurus. So that's who published it. This is a quick two-player only game. Basically, about 30 minutes. You are trying to race up these different. There's three different mini games, if you will, on the board, and you're selecting which actions you're going to do on your turn, and you're going to do something, possibly two actions at the racetrack, or maybe one action at the nightclub and one at the financial center. And it's you're doing something to try to maybe trigger another move or another option or a bonus type of thing, but you're trying to influence the guests and the people that are in these different environments to get the attention of Gatsby himself. So interesting little game. It's fun. It's a really nice components, beautiful looking board with this gold inlay. It's just really nice. But that is Gatsby. All right, next I played Castle Combo. I did this also a couple of times in the month. This is by Gregory Gerard and Matthieu Roussel. This is also published by, who did this one? Where did I get this one? Oh, there's a bunch. I think this was Pandasaurus as well here in the States. So I do believe that is correct. But this is you're drafting people from the castle and the village to create a valuable 3x3 tableau. So again, you can play 2 to 5 players. It plays in less than 30 minutes. And this is a very lightweight game, but there's a messenger, if you will, that'll go back and forth between the village and the castles. And so that's like where you can draft from, and there's a market out there, and you're using you're drafting your cards, and you've got these other like keys to move the messenger if you want to draft from the other line, or that the messenger is not in, you can move the messenger. So and it's just kind of, you're trying to build up some combos by having this grid out in front of you and getting points that way. So it's a really fun game, very easy to learn, and it's fun. All right, next I played ISS Vanguard. This is a long game. It's one of those very thematic Awakened Realms games. This is designed by Andre Betkwitz, Christoph Piskorsky, Paul Szymborski, and Marcin Swarkot. Apologize for names. I'm really bad about pronouncing names. But this is again, very big table presence, a lot going on. It is a kind of it is a campaign style game. I've played this a couple times now with a group, and not my favorite. There's a lot of story, which is, for me, I'm not huge into story games. I just kind of like more action and doing things, and this one's very much luck of the draw of what you're rolling your dice. I mean, you have abilities and things to try to help manipulate the dice rolls and things like that, but I still feel it's very luck based, and that could just be, maybe I'm playing it wrong. And like when you're drafting your dice and doing things, you gotta really try to calculate things of the odds of how many dice do you want to roll to try to make this thing happen, and you kind of lose those dice until you like resupply, and there's limits to those. So it is a beautiful game. It's a really neat idea. There's like 2 stages. One, you're in the ship and you're doing this whole ship part where you're doing bridge upgrades and research, and your people are getting promoted, and there's this whole binder that you're doing for your ship. And then there's the other stage where you go down to planets and stuff, and you explore, and you're doing combat, or you're trying to do scientific things. But again, it's all kind of dice rolling, and so it's a beautiful game, but for me personally, it's been one that I just have struggled to get real excited about. So I will finish my campaign with my group, because that's the way I am. I won't bail on them, but it's not something I will play again. So just keep that in mind. It's very heavy on story, and if you like that, this is going to be a fantastic game. All right. Then I did play Tigris and Euphrates. This is a Reiner Knizia game. and I got to play this with Rob at his place when I was out there for Gen Con. I think his copy was from Z-Man Games. This has also been one of those games that's had a lot of different publishers: Pegasus Spiel, Mayfair Games, Matago, many more, Fantasy Flight, Devere. So there's a bunch, but this is a kind of the summary of this is to keep your Mesopotamian civilization in perfect balance through revolutions and wars, and you are, you know, I think this was just it is a 2 to 4 player game, but yeah, that's right. You could have 4 different players, but you're trying to kind of build up your civilization, I guess. You're doing tile placement. You get these different leaders, so you've got farming, trading, religion, and government, and those are used to collect victory points in those categories. And so this is a very Euro, very heavy thinky game. It is a medium to heavier weight, I would say, and I think this one's out of print. This came out in 1997. So it's an older one, but yeah, it's something that I had never experienced before, and Rob gave me the opportunity to learn this one. Next, I played Galileo Galilei. This is from Tomas Holek, and it's published by Pink Troubadour. And this is a fantastic game. I love his game SETI. That was the first game that I ever played from Tomas, and I'm like, I absolutely love the game. And I heard so much about this one that I'm like, I want to pick this one up too. And I looked at it, I was like, this looks interesting. This is fantastic. This is such a great game, and it's so impressive because he's like a new designer, and this was like he had 3 games come out in 2024: SETI, Galileo Galilei, and Teagard, and all of them got really good reviews and high praise, and so I'm like, I'm gonna pick this up, and I absolutely love this game. You're trying to discover new planets and star systems. And you might think, well, SETI is space type of game as well, and like they're too similar. No, they play completely different. They're nothing alike. This is a Galileo Galilei is a Euro style game where you are playing the astronomer and you're trying to discover new planets and unknown star systems, and you got to develop your telescope and you're trying to make scientific breakthroughs and stuff. It is absolutely like an action selection game where you're deciding what actions you're going to do, and then you're going to take those actions on your turn. It is really a fantastic game. I really love it. Cannot wait to play this one again. All right, next, with a single play, Lost Ruins of Arnak, exploring the island to find resources and discover the lost ruins of Arnak. It's as simple as that, right? This is by Elwin and Min from Czech Games Edition. Again, a fantastic game. I picked up the big adventure box. I think it's sitting right behind me somewhere. I don't remember where. Where did I put that big giant box? Right up here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right up here. I got all my Lost Ruins of Arnak with the big adventure chest there. But I picked that adventure chest up at Gen Con this year, and that it basically holds everything all into the one box. But this is another big game. You need some space at your table for this, but it is a really fun game with different things you can do. There's like these discovery tracks. You can do research and take notes in your journal, and you're trying to go up to learn more things, and you're going out to find like these, going through these ruins, I guess, to gain more resources and things. But you can be confronted by these creatures that I forgot what they call them, but they I think they're like protecting the little area that you're exploring, the guardians. So you will have to face off against these guardians and stuff, but if you can defeat them, then there's bonuses by having done that and stuff. So Lost Ruins of Arnak, fantastic game. So my next one, I've only played this once. Another game I'm going to get to the table here really soon. I mentioned it already because this is another Tomas Holek game, and that is Teagarden. Now, this one is published by Capstone Games, and this one is the summary is witness the birth of tea culture in ancient China. And again, this was one I'm like, I didn't really sound interesting to me. Let me just give you the description here. As the proud owner of one of the tea gardens in the Chinese Yunnan region, your mission in Tea Garden is to cultivate and expand your empire by establishing new tea gardens along the serene river valley. It just, did not sound interesting. The theme didn't appeal to me. But when I played Galileo Galilei and I was like just amazed by it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick up Tea Garden as well. And I played it and I absolutely love it. It plays nothing like the others. Like, I am so impressed with this designer. He is. I bought his first 3. I have backed or pre-ordered 2 more new games that he's got coming out in October and November. Pond Escape and Aquaria. I think it's Aquaria. And I know he's got some more stuff coming out this year that I'm like going to jump all over. He has quickly become the designer that is an instant buy whatever he puts out until he proves different for me. But I love all 3 games, and I've played. Tea Garden is, it's really an excellent, game. You are trying to upgrade your tea quality, and you're moving to different regions to gain, trying to work across this whole region to improve things, and just there's a lot going on, and it's just a fantastic game. So don't miss out on it if you haven't checked out Tea Garden. All right. At Gen Con, I got the opportunity to play Knitting Circle. Now, this is a Calico game. I didn't care for Calico at all. I bought it and played it, and it was something I quickly got rid of. I just didn't enjoy it. So I was like, oh, I don't want to play this. This one was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. And even though I'm not a quilter or I don't knit things, but it was interesting of like, you have these options of you get these materials and then you're trying to, there's these plans. They're not called plans, but patterns, I think is the proper term. That you would try to like make mittens or scarves or a shirt or pants, or so there's these different things you're trying to do, and they're going to be a little harder. But then there's like patterns and colors and different things that you're trying to get and use to make these things. And it turned out it was just a fantastic game. It really was enjoyable. This is designed by Emily Vincent and published by Flat Out Games, and it really is a fun little game. This is a standalone from Calico. And this is a tile laying game. And you're basically trying to create the coziest, most beautiful assortment of garments. And it really is a fantastic little game. And it's a simple game. It's easy enough for everybody to learn. There's variable scoring goals, lots of unique template cards, and it's a really good one for gamers of all types. So check that out. All right, next, Pagan and the Fate of Roanoke. This is the 2-player game designed by Kasper Jar Christensen and Kars Storgard. And this is published by Capstone Games. So I got to play this one with a friend of mine, and this is set back in colonial America of 1587. Think of kind of like the Salem witch hunts, right? The Salem witch trials, things like that. So one player is playing as the witch, and the other player is playing as the hunter trying to find the witch. So they both have, it is an asymmetrical game where both have these different abilities, and the witch is going to strive to complete a ritual renaturation. The hunter is trying to discover the witch among these 9 different villagers. So each turn, each player is going to use their action pawns on active villagers to draw cards, play cards, gain influence, things like that. And you're trying to get down and discover, basically each other. So before the other is able to, the hunter's trying to find the witch before the witch does this ritual. And if the witch can do the ritual, they win. The hunter needs to kill the witch. before that happens. So there's like this kind of like things going on, and each of you are influencing the villagers, and so each of you can see who you're influencing, and so the hunter's trying to deduce from those things maybe which one of these people is the witch. So it's a really fun game, very interesting. Again, that is Pagan: Fate of Roanoke. Check it out. Next, Point Galaxy. I'm a big fan of Point Salad. It's a very simple game. Point City, I do have, but I didn't enjoy it near as much. I think it complicated what was, Point Salad is a very simple game. It's just really quick to play, and I think kind of Point City went a little different, made it a little bit more complicated. I feel kind of took the fun out, at least for myself. Point Galaxy, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this looks beautiful. And this one does step up from Point Salad. Might even be a little bit more difficult than Point City. I've only played Point City once. I'd have to go back and check, but I liked Point Galaxy to play better. I really enjoyed that. So Morin's instead of just getting your fruits, or your veggies out, trying to build groups of those, you're like building almost like these little solar systems, from in a chronological order with, you've got wormholes and all these different things going on. So to start a new galaxy, you have to have like a sun, and then the suns give you certain scoring things if you can do something in that galaxy. And you're open drafting from the market, just like the other games. Really do enjoy Point Galaxy. It is a lot of fun. Again, this one's from Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, Sean Stankiewicz, and is also published by Flat Out Games. Absolutely love this, and it's also AEG. So, which I think, what was the other one I just said a minute ago? What was I? Oh, Knitting Circle is also an AEG, I believe. Maybe not. But anyways, Point Galaxy is what we're talking about, and my dogs are going nuts. So again, check it out. Fantastic game. All right, then one of my favorites. I got this from Gen Con. I've talked about it before. The Last Command. This is a deck building game about 2 starships in a broadsides battle. Again, 1 to 2 players, 30 to 60 minutes. This is published by Sentient Games LLC. Absolutely love this. Again, I always say this is Star Realms to the next level, and it's absolutely. I like Star Realms, but I love The Last Command. This, between the two, I would take Last Command each and every time. And I just really like that you have the ability to place crew cards and different compartments and kind of try to get an engine going with different things. But there's a limit to that, because once your hand of cards is gone and you got to reshuffle, you take off all your crew cards and back, or all your system cards, and then you reshuffle, and then you've got to build it back up again. So it's neat because it keeps something, if you have something very powerful, it's only going to be powerful for a little bit. So you can't just annihilate your opponent, but you might get a couple of shots in of just pure destruction, and then it's like a reset. So it's really neat. It's a lightweight game designed by Ty McDonald, and it is really fantastic. Check this one out. Again, that's The Last Command. All right. I also got to play The Peak Team. This is The Peak Team Rangers. And this is, you're going to coordinate with other rangers to safeguard animals from a wildlife park. This is a cooperative game for up to 5 players. It is designed by Scott Alms and published by Matago. And this, again, is a really, really fun game. There's a lot going on. It is challenging. And even on the very initial level, like I think it's 5 levels of difficulty that you can make this game harder each and every time you play. But even at the kind of the basic, you are having to work together, plan out where you are based on the cards you have, and the cards you have in your hand you can't play for yourself. You are like giving cards to other players to let them move. And so it's really interesting. It's like everything that you're playing is to help someone else, and you have to rely on your other teammates to help you meet your objectives. Now you can talk and plan and all that type of stuff, but um, there is that cooperative, and you got to kind of work together. And like you get ability, but you can't use your special ability. That's for someone else to use. So you can be like, hey, they can go, I would like to use your ability. Yeah, you can, and you flip it over, and now it's gone until you do things to gain that ability back. But really fun game, and I love how that you can, once you get it down and kind of like, okay, understand how this is working, you can ramp up the difficulty by various things, like maybe taking out the trails, like the trails need to be repaired, or there is weather that will impact your abilities to do things. And there's a lot of different things in the game that you can put in to make the game even more complicated. So really fun game. I love co-op games. This is the Peak Team from Scott Alton. All right, next is Shadowhunters. This is, you got the shadows, the hunters, and the civilians, which we call the neutrals. You're trying to deduce who's who while obtaining items and goals. It's a hidden role game. You don't know who anyone is. There's a couple places on the board you can go to, and some places allow you to draw cards. If you get these white cards, they tend to be more of like a protection or something you can place in front of you. The black cards tend to be more of a weapon that you can potentially put in front of you to do extra damage when you're attacking someone. And then there's these green cards, which are more that you would read the card and then you would hand the card to another player, and it'll say something like, I think you're a shadow. If you are, you lose a point or something, or something to that effect, right? There's things like that. And then they'll just put the card down face down in the discard pile on the table, and they'll either do nothing or they'll do whatever they were on the card. And then I would know, okay, they took a point of damage. I know they're a shadow. So now that might be good because maybe I'm a shadow, and now I know who my partner is in the game. Or it might be like, maybe I'm a hunter, and I'm like, okay, good, I need to take you out. Or I might be a neutral, and depending on the neutral win condition, that they might want to side with the shadow, or they might want to not side with the shadow. So it's interesting because the neutrals have different win abilities, and they're not always the same. Even if you've got a group of 6 players with 2 shadows, 2 hunters, and 2 neutrals, the 2 neutrals doesn't mean that they could know who each other is and still not have the same win conditions. So very interesting game. Unfortunately, out of print. Somebody needs to bring this back. I'm begging publishers, bring this back. This is a fantastic game. All right, let's keep moving. We're getting closer to the end. The next one is a reprint of a Reiner Knizia game from Bitewing Games. This is called Silos. This one, just the artwork, the theming is great. It's brainwash humans, abduct cows, and control a town in this 1980s Earth invasion. But like, it has this like 1950s vibe to it. Just kind of that, this is what it feels like to me. Back with when you look at the game, I kind of feel like, yeah, 1950s. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But this is you are these aliens, right, that have stumbled across this planet Earth and discovered intelligent, albeit primitive life. The cow is the most intelligent life, right? In fact, the most intelligent and valuable of these specimens are the creatures known as cows. So you're basically collecting these different people and cows. Cows are like the wild cards. You can use them as different pieces in the game to these different requirements to get knowledge, and the race is to get like all this knowledge. 5, I think, societal power emblems. That's what it is. So you're trying to do that, and it's just a fun little movement. What a area majority and influence type of game. And there's once per game abilities, and yeah, it's a really fun game. Does play in less than an hour, 2 to 4 players. Really, really fun game. I liked it. Next, from Aaron Hine and Manny Tremblay, all published by Neon Knight Games, is Fight 5. Essentially, this is, if you remember back in the day when we were kids and you had a regular 52 card deck of cards and you would play war, right? Everyone had 26 cards, face down, and you just flip the top one. Whoever had the highest card would win, right? And if you ever put the same cards out, then it was a war. You'd be like 1, 2, 3 more face down, and then you slam your fourth card up. Whoever had the highest gets all the cards, and then you never knew what was hidden under there. And that was the thing. What did I give away? And sometimes like there might be an ace or a king in there, and you're like, no, I lost some high cards. So this is like a modern take on that, but with a little bit more ability for you to play kind of what you want. You only have 5 cards, and you're going to play all 5 cards. So there's these cards that are out that will have a number on them that you basically have to beat to meet or beat to win, and your opponents are also going to fight for that card. So you have to look at all the 5 cards that are out, where you want to place your 5, which piles you want to compete for. And then there's these certain scoring rules. So like you have to have like a 10 or higher to score points. If you get the stars, that's worth more points. But like a 9 or less, they don't count for any points. But at the end of the game, whoever has the most or the biggest pile of cards will gain bonus points. So they don't score directly, but indirectly they could add more points. So it's like, do you want those or not? So fun little game. Again, 2 to 5 players, 10 to 15 minutes, and you're done. A modern take on a war. Next is The Four Doors. This is by Matt Leacock, Ben Pinchback, and Matt Riddle, published by Happy Camper. You're trying to acquire this relic hiding behind each of the doors to light the beacon and banish the darkness. That's essentially what it is. This is a cooperative game, and the time is going to work against you. And you've got these doors that are basically fully open. There's 4 of them, and you need to meet certain goals to be able to go get the relic behind each one before that door closes. Now, as the doors get the darkness start to take over, and when you get to a certain amount of cards at each door on either side, it will close that door. Well, it'll make the door like half closed and then closed completely. And so, and once those doors start closing, like you gotta really maximize every round, every turn, because you can't, the longer it takes you, the harder it is going to be to complete. So it's a really fun game, cooperative game. It takes like about 30 minutes. You can play 1 to 5 people. Really, really fun game. So check that one out as well. Next, I played Line of Fire Burnt Moon. This is from Trevor Benjamin and David Thompson, published by Osprey Games. This is a 2-player game. I don't like this game. This uses it's a standalone 2-player card game that fuses the lean deck building of the award-winning Undaunted series with a fast-paced lane battler. And I think for me, I didn't care for the Undaunted style of building your deck. It's not something I'm familiar with. And so I wasn't really into this game. This one I didn't really care for. But I understand Undaunted is like a pretty popular, and I've never played that series. But if I had a better understanding of how that worked, maybe I would enjoy this better. But lane battlers are also not huge on my list. I've got a couple that I kind of enjoy, but this was nothing that I'm like, it just wasn't for me. But interesting how they merged some different game mechanics to make it a different type of lane battler. So, all right, next we've got Propolis. It's from Molly Johnson, Robert Melvin, Sean Stankiewicz again. Flat Out Games and AEG published this. You're deploying worker bees to explore the realm and build the most glorious hive. It really has a feeling of, now this is the same team that has brought us the Point Galaxy and those games, and it has some feeling of that. There's this marketplace, and you're trying to get these cards to put in to your tableau and get an engine building thing, but there's also worker placement and area control in this game as well. So this is a really fun game that kind of takes, I feel like that mechanic that's behind the point salad type of game, but just like extending it by adding area control, worker placement, things like that into it. And it works really, really well. So Propolis is a really fun game, lightweight, easy to learn, 15 to 30 minutes, 1 to 4 players. Excellent game. Check it out. Next, I got from Ivy Studios, I picked up Graft. So here it's farm, fish, and forage to gather the perfect harvest. This is designed by Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, and Austin Harrison. It supports 3 to 5 players within about 40 minutes. It's a lightweight to medium game. This is, to me, I felt like this was kind of like a Sushi Go. So you are going to draft cards, you're going to collect sets, and then fill your cargo with valuable goods. So you want to get, you're going to put cards out in front of you that you're going to draft on your turn. Everyone's going to draft a card to place in their cargo, and we're all going to flip it at the same time, right? And if someone does a like a shipping card or ship cargo card, then like that means they're shipping their cargo basically to score the points that. But as you're putting cards out, as you're putting your cargo out, there's rules. Like once you place something, like you maybe can no longer put a blue card or certain types of cards out after that, and that's tough if you're early because I mean maybe and then the cards on the bottom are going to tell you what you're going to score. So you're trying to maximize what you send, but you've got to get stuff sent as well without busting. And the thing is, if when you're at one point, if you got cards in your hand and you can't, and you don't have the ability, I'm trying to remember how to say this right. You could bust because if you can't play anything that allows you, I'm trying to remember, let's see. So maybe if I read in this, basically keep drafting cards to gain more points, but be careful because if you don't pack your cargo properly, your shipment will be rejected and you'll have to start over. Basically, you can lose all those cards that you've put out and have to start over. You don't want to bust. So you're trying to make combos, you're trying to claim badges that are going to be available, but you don't want to bust on this game. So yeah, this is in the Tend universe. Tend is a game that is like going to be like a big roll and write coming out soon. It's not yet released, but this is kind of in that universe that Ivy Studios has created. All right, next I finally got to play Memoir 44, designed by Richard Borg and published by Days of Wonder. This thing came out way back in 2004, and just, I think, in September, got a reprint. So they've done an update to Memoir 44, and this is just the classic two-person. It does say 2 to 8, but it's a 2-player game that you could have 4 players, but you're each like playing on a side, kind of somehow working together. The 8 players is, I think, having 2 copies of the game with 4 people on each side battling the 4 people on the other side. So at its core, it's a 2-player game, but it's a classic World War II. You're fighting historic battles that actually happened in World War II, and it's a very simple game to play. You got these cards that basically I'm going to play this card, and you're just going to do what the cards tell you. There's ways to do battle. You've got all kinds of things like tanks, soldiers, artillery. You're throwing grenades and things like that. So it's a very, very easy game to play, and actually very, very fun. Days of Wonder does an awesome job. So next is a game I picked up at Gen Con. It's Fliptoons. This is a flip your way to fame in the animated deck building game. So you have a market of 6 cards, I believe it is, out in front of you, and you are basically trying to gain fame, trying to get up to a certain amount to win. Well, as soon as someone has more than 30 fame, the game will end, and whoever has, it'll trigger the end of the game, and then there's like a final flip, and whoever has the most fame at the end of that ends up winning. And the artwork is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. If you're familiar with Cuphead or some older, like I guess like Felix the Cat or some older animation styles, that's what it is, and it's absolutely beautiful. Very quick, easy game. to play, 1 to 4 players in 15 to 30 minutes. This is published by Thunderworks Games, designed by Jordi Aiden and Renato Simoes. It's a lightweight game to, again, Fliptoons. Check that one out. All right, we are getting closer to the end. Next is Lone Wolves, a 2-player game, and it just basically, as the alpha of your pack, lead the fellow wolves to dominate the landscape. This was designed by Yasuyuki Nakamura and Anthony Perrone, and published by Wonderful World Board Games. Let me see if there's any, also Pegasus Spiel and White Goblin Games, or a couple of the others listed there. And this is, I would call this another lane battler, area majority game, trick taking type of game. It's so, this distinguishes itself from most trick taking games. However, the trump suit in Lone Wolves is dynamic, shifting as the game progresses. So it is also, I would call it a lane battler. You're trying to fight. I mean, it's a lane or you're trying to get majority in this area to win. So not my favorite, but it's a quick game, lightweight game. You can play this in 15 minutes. Next, I played an older game, Dice Town from 2009. This is designed by Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Malblanc, and published by Matago and Asmodee. So this is I wasn't sure what to think of this one, but everyone gets a cup with 5 poker dice, and you start with $8, and you're basically going to roll your dice into this cup, and then you're going to take control of various places in the town based on how you're placing your dice out there to gain rewards. And so everyone's going to shake their cup, take out all but 1 die, which is kept apart from the others. They repeat the process with the remaining dice until all 5 dice are on the table. Players may want to keep more than 1 die. They pay $1 for each additional die. So you're basically trying to take over these certain parts of town, managing your money and trying to get the bonuses for being the winner of those locations with these poker dice. So again, really fun game, very lightweight. It's good for all ages. And that was Dice Town. And then last one for the month, The Gang. So again, talking about poker, this is Texas Hold'em. You are playing this, and I've talked about this before. I don't like poker. I'm just not a fan of poker, right? But this is a game from John Cooper and Corey Heath and Cosmos, who had published it. And what it is, it's cooperative Texas Hold'em. And so it's a limited communication game. So you're going to get your first 2 cards. There's these like white poker chips that come out, and this goes up to 6 players. So it's 3 to 6 players. And so if you have 4 players, you're going to have 4 white poker chips out there. One will have 1 star, one will have 2, one will have 3, one will have 4. So you look at your first 2 cards. Everyone's going to look at their cards secretly, and then at any point, anyone can grab one of the chips. And if I say I've got like 2 aces was dealt to me, I'm going to take that 4, the chip with the 4 stars on it. I'm basically signaling to everyone else I've got a very strong hand. Now, I'm just going to slide that in front of me. Now, if other people, say I was the first one to take that chip, someone else might have 2 kings or something. They're like, oh, dude, I got a powerful hand. They don't know what I got, but they might take my 4. And then, of course, I could take it back and be like, nah, trust me type of thing. So you're communicating by what everyone's taking. If I got a weak hand, I'm going to take that 1. I'm going to fight for that 1, right? Because like I got nothing. And maybe someone who had the double kings or even a pair of jacks or a pair of deuces, right? They're like, oh, I got a pair. I'm taking that 4. I'm like, and maybe I'll be like, whatever. I'm just going to wait till the next one to see what comes up. And, so now everyone's going to get the next cards that come out, right? Now you're sharing from the river of the flop, the whatever it's called. But so the whole point is at the end of the last hand, when the last card's up and we're all bidding, we need to be correct on who has the strongest hand all the way down to the weakest. If we can do that correctly, then we win. and we have to win 3 times to beat the house. If we are wrong, then the house wins. And so it's really tough when you can't communicate, very limited. And but it makes poker fun. You're trying to win together, and it's just really kind of cool. So all right, that wraps up my month for August. And wow, this was almost an hour long. Oh boy, I'm gonna cut it out now. So if you are still here, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, hit that bell icon so you're never gonna miss any new content. Let me know in the comments if you played any of these games. What are your thoughts? Again, if you're still here, thank you very much for watching this entire thing. I really appreciate it, and I hope you just have a fantastic day. And I hope you get to play some games today. And we'll see you at the table. Thank you.